Yo guys, what's going down? Brother Stevanius here. This is Command Centre Wargaming. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to magnetize this guy. Okay, it's a contemptor Dreadnought, alright, and he's got full articulation. You can use this magnetization method for any of your models, plastic, resin, and pretty much anything else. You can see here, he rotates around the pelvis, his arms move, okay, his sponsons move, so you're not locked into one pose. And also, you can swap your weapons out as needed as well. Now, this is a subscriber request. I've had a lot of requests for this tutorial, and I'm planning a lot of other tutorials, how to paint Ultramarines, how to paint, Alpha Legion, Grey Knight tutorial is coming up. So if you're into Warhammer and you want to see some cool tutorials and learn how to paint more and assemble more, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's awesome, and if you like the video, give the video a thumbs up. Now, just so you know, this video is not going to be the shortest of videos, but it's going to show you how to do it properly. Alright, without further ado, let's check it out, guys, and I'll see you in there. Alright, everybody, so as you can see here today, we have this Contemptor Dreadnought here, Relic Contemptor Dreadnought here from Forge World, and we're going to be going through and we're going to be magnetizing this today. Now, what you can see here, I've got the legs that are pre-assembled. That's just me. I don't really care about articulation in the legs. I do obviously care about the pivot point for the hips though. Now, with that said, I want my model to be posable, right? But I don't want it to be an action figure, if that makes sense. It's not an action figure, all right? So, and you can see here I have the torso. The torso has basically been stuck together there. Okay, I've got the Cyclone missile launcher up the top and the backpack there. So I've kind of pre-assembled a little bit. If you want to know how I go about assembling resin and things like that, you can check out some of my other videos on the channel there. I've got like heaps of videos, undercoating resin, assembling resin, all that kind of stuff. There's heaps of tutorials on the channel. Now, I've also got some pre-assembled twin las cannons here. All right, so we can see how that's basically working there, like that, okay? I've assembled the little armature parts, all right? And also, I've also got the shoulder mounts here, like that, all right? So you can see here, I've got the all the separate parts. Now, all these parts are gonna get magnetized, all right? Now, I'll record my procedure for magnetizing all these components. The easiest is going to be those las cannon points right there, because we just have to stick a magnet right in here and right in there, okay? And then basically just like stick it in there like that, and it's like super easy, okay? The most challenging part will be right in here, I think. The reason is because we have to file that down, because if we stick magnets right in there, then we're basically going to have him propped up. Now, that might be what some of you want, and that's fine. But to me, I think it just makes him look a little bit goofy if you like stick a magnet in there. So yeah, guys, you can see here I have my contemptor, and this is another contemptor I put together another time. And you can see here when I hold it up like that, all right, you can actually see here that I can swivel the gun turrets, right? And you can see here I can move the arms, right? So I can actually pose him whatever way I want. And you can see here I can twist the torso as well. Right, so it's really cool. So that way, you can see here the legs are stiff. You don't really want to pay too much attention to the articulation of the legs. As I said before, it's not an action figure. Okay, you just want to be able to pose it. Okay, so that you could basically get a few different sort of poses depending on sort of where you're at. All right. Now this magnetizing technique, it'll work for any mini. Okay. I actually magnetize all my weapons on my Forge World stuff, because the stuff's just so damn expensive. So like, why go through and buy 5 fire raptor gunships, all with different armatures. So I like to basically go through magnetize it. But as you can see, you get a really, really cool sort of articulation, and you're not locked off to one pose. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I just glue the head in as well. All right, that's the other thing. I just go ahead and just glue the head in. I don't worry about articulation. But guys, you can go ballistic if you want. Okay, you could go through and you can literally just glue these legs. You can magnetize all these joints if you want. Okay, the bigger the magnet, kind of the better it's going to work as well. The more stiff the parts are going to be. But that's basically how it works. So fantastic, guys. Now we're going to take a look at what we actually are going to need for this project. Now, obviously, we're going to need the model, okay, as we discussed before. You know, we're going to need him pre-assembled. Remember to wash the resin, all right, which is going to really be important just before you even start assembling, really. But once again, you can check out some of my other tutorials for that. Okay, I've got a whole video on it on the channel. Then we're going to need, this is extremely important, everybody, you're going to need some ventilation respirator, okay, for your protection. Now, the reason is because we are going to be doing some drilling with this, right? And the resin is going to come apart, and it's going to be extremely important, you know, obviously to protect your safety and your lungs. You know, resin is extremely toxic, okay, when it's in the liquid form, and apparently it's not so healthy for you either when it's in the dry form, especially if there's like leaking in the resin and things like that. So look, always use this. If you're just going to be doing it sort of like, well, I'm not going to call it the simpler way, but it's a bit more ghetto. If you're just going to be drilling out holes with like a little drill piece or something, or manually filing it away, then I don't think you really need to worry about going to this extreme, because you know you're not going to get particles flying around. But with this method, guys, this method is extremely accurate. It's extremely fast, and what I say by fast is it's like, yes, it's easier just to get like a Games Workshop drill piece and just, you know, screw it around and stick a magnet in. But the problem is, what I find is a lot of the times the holes don't fit properly. A lot of the times, like, you know, you got to use super glue to get it in there, and then you stick it the wrong way, and then the magnets are polarized the incorrect way, which is like, you know, one of the most annoying thing, and I'm going to show you how to get around that as well. Right, so there we go. The other thing you're gonna need is a pair of glasses, just goggles here, just to protect your eyes. Like, these are proper safety, you know, apparatus. I use these when I paint all the time, especially with enamel paints and acrylates and lacquers and things. Even acrylics, guys, metallic acrylics and stuff, you want to have, you know, some protection gear. You know, so yeah, extremely important for this, and you'll see why. The next thing you're going to need is you don't need anything this extreme, but you're going to need a drill or a Dremel of some kind, okay? Now, this here, I got this for like $20 at a shop called J-Car in Australia. If you're Australian, you'll know what that is. In America, guys, I'm sure you've got like, you know, or England, I'm sure you got your sort of, you know, your reasonably priced handyman stores where you can go, okay, and you can get little kits like this. Essentially, it's just a grinder. It's a little hand drilling grinder, okay, 20 bucks, the whole lot. You get all these pieces. I use this for my modeling all the time. So you could see here the parts that I'm going to use for sanding down. Mostly I just use this. Mostly I just use this little tip here. I'll show you that, go up the camera there. It's just this little sort of fine tip here. All right, but for the drilling, this is really going to come in handy because I'm going to be able to like drill it really fast as well. And it's very powerful as well. Okay, now it's not like a proper drill, like a proper construction drill where you got speeds and all that kind of stuff. All right, but it is really, really good. Okay, you've even got sandpaper here where you could sand stuff down. All right, but this is why I was saying it's very important that you have a respirator. All right, otherwise, you know, at best, you know, after doing this for a few years, you're gonna end up like General Grievous. All right, you're gonna be coughing everywhere. Okay, so guys, you know, protect yourselves in this hobby. Okay, it's an awesome hobby, but you really got to protect yourself. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Okay. Oh, it looks like it's filler. This comes with filler. I didn't even see that. That's pretty cool. So anyway, all right. So that's the kit. Now, guys, if you can't get access to that, just use, you know, any sort of hand drill. Army Painter do little, you know, modeling drills. Get one of those. It's like, you know, but they're very expensive for what they are. You pay $30 for this little screwdriver drill. Here, you can basically, you know, it's like, yeah, like what would this be? Probably like $10 US, $9 US right now. Okay, so very important. You know, protect yourself. This is the main form of equipment we're using. Now, more protection. because in this method we're going to have flakes going out, we're going to have sort of resin dust going out a little bit. Get yourself some gloves. These are just little surgical gloves. You can get them at the supermarket. It's like $5 for like a box of 100 or something. Okay, I use these when I paint as well. And once again, you know, it's because, you know, the resin will get on your fingers and stuff like that. You may as well wear them, okay? You may as well wear them. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, and then you're gonna need some super glue, right? Now, it doesn't matter what super glue you use, just get super glue, okay? Basically, you know, just make sure that whatever super glue you get, make sure it's not gonna, you know, stick the cover together so you're halfway through working and, you know, you basically like find that you can't get the cap off, you know what I mean, like, as you're working. I also have a few spare bottles handy as well, so have like I don't know, I usually have 5 or 6 cheap, you know, $1 super glues from the junk shop, ready to go, ready to rock and roll in case this one freezes up, okay? Then you're going to need your magnets, right? Of course you're going to need your magnets. Now these magnets here, these are just, I believe they're just army painter magnets. You can see I've got different sizes here, but I'll explain this to you later in the video. We're going to basically be using these large parts for like the pelvis swivel. These ones here will just be for the arm and things like that. Okay, and then you see I've got some drill pieces stuck to it. These are the army painter drill pieces I usually use as well when I find that the Dremel is a little bit too much, a little bit too crazy. Okay, so it's really cool. But yeah, different various sizes there, really good. Okay, fantastic. So that's that one. All right, and then we're going to need a pair of we're going to need some Abaddon black paint. Now, you can use any paint. To be honest, I probably shouldn't be using Games Workshop paint because the stuff's just hell expensive. Really, the cheapest paint you can find, you know, for this tutorial will be sufficient. You can use permanent markers if you want, but I find that permanent markers sort of like slide off the metal a little bit more. Probably the best thing to use will be enamel paint, but takes ages to dry, guys, and it kind of seems a little bit, you know, counterproductive, you know, as to what we're doing. But yeah, so guys, the stuff ain't getting any cheaper, so, you know, maybe use something cheaper, I don't know, but it was the first thing I grabbed and I want to get this tutorial done. You need an old brush, just an old brush, okay? Now you might be saying, well, Steve, you know, why do I need, you know, paint for a magnetization tutorial? You will see guys soon, okay? And then you're going to need your snips, right? You're going to need this handy. You're going to need these snips handy, okay? Just in case, you know, like you need to snip something out or you find it's faster just to go through and just sort of manually sort of get in there and grind into the resin or grind into the plastic. You can actually use the top of these snips as like a bit of a sort of drilling tool as well, or turn your snips in an arc. Which you'll most likely be seeing me do. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just works and it's all good, but you have that option. Okay, so that's basically that. Now, guys, do yourself a favor. You know, go down to your hardware shop. These snips here, they cost me $11 Australian from J-Car. Okay, $11. Okay, in the US, that's probably like $5, $4.90 or something like that. Okay. Don't fall in for the whole, you know, Games Workshop, you know, when you buy your minis. I know they like to do it, you know, you go in the store, especially for the people who are new to the hobby, and they'll tell you, you know, oh yeah, you're going to need the snips, you're going to need that, you're going to need this brush. Don't do it, guys. Don't go pay $30 for a pair of bullcrap Citadel snips. Go pay, you know, $4, use the other $25 to buy your proper drill or, you know, another set of minis or something. These snips are absolutely amazing. They're like 10 times better than the Games Workshop ones, okay? As most of the tools are. You can check out my other video on the channel about paintbrushes. I'll explain that to you as well. But the main reason, not only the durability, why I love these so much, is because if you actually look at the tip, right? If you actually look at the tip of the head there, you can see as I turn it, can you see there's this really thin this really thin sort of tip of the head of the snips right there. Okay, now to me, that is amazing, right? Because it basically allows you to sort of get in between those tight places of the sprue, right? So when you need to cut a sprue, you can just get in there and so snip it. Like, you know, sometimes you have those really sort of fiddly, sprue parts, you know, like where the wires are or the cables are or something, especially some of those Forge World models. So that really helps with that. So it's pretty fantastic. All right, Dremel components, gloves, facial protection, paint, glue, magnets, right, and the model that you're going to be working on. And so, guys, with that added, like I was saying, you know, with this stuff, you should be trying to save money wherever you can, and there's no point going through and giving Games Workshop an extra $30, you know, for something you can get for like a fraction of the price. I mean, guys, I tell you right now, you know, Games Workshop ain't sending this channel free Mephistons. So as far as and the models aren't getting any cheaper. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be saving money wherever I can. Okay, fantastic. All right, brothers. So firstly, what we're going to need to do, we're going to actually need to work out what magnets we're going to need for which component. Okay, now let's start with the easiest first. What I will do is we will start with the las cannons. So the las cannons, we'll look at our little magnet kit here. All right, we can see that we have these little smaller magnets, and I think we'll just use these. So these magnets are actually, why I like these magnets so much, these are like the army painter magnets, is basically because, you know, they come in all different sizes. They're really good quality as well. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Hopefully it's going to be pretty hard to see there, but it is what it is. All right. So, you know, they're actually designed for miniatures. Now, what we'll do is we'll divide these up 2 at a time. Okay, so we've got 2 there, a set there. We're going to have another set, so we're going to try to find the same size. Hopefully we've got them left. Let's have a look here. So, yeah, it looks like these ones over here. It doesn't matter if they're not exact, like, you know, it's good to get them exact, but it's not sort of like a critical thing. So we'll get 2 here, all right? Now these will be the 2 magnets for our las cannons. All right, and what I might do, I might just watch that because they'll snap back onto the set. I might just actually go ahead and zoom the camera just in a little bit, guys, for us, so that we can actually, you know, see what's going on a little bit better. So I'll just bear with me for a sec, guys. I'm just going to zoom that in a bit for you. All right, that way you can actually see things a little bit better there. So yeah, that's why this tutorial is a bit of a trial run for our new set of tutorials. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, that I could sort of get this flushed out a little bit better so that we can, you know, streamline it so that we can have some really cool painting tutorials and stuff like that. So you see here we've got the magnets, okay, sets of 2. These are just going to sit right in here like this, okay, on top, all right. I don't think I'm going to worry too much about, actually, no, I will basically worry about it because as you can see, you know, I still going to have to bore in a little bit here, all right, because it's just going to give it too much of a lift, where it's going to look silly because I'm going to have this, I'm going to have like this, you know, sort of, there's going to be this big gap there. So we want to try to minimize, you know, this sort of gap as best we can. All right, so fantastic. So but we got the magnet ready. So we know that there's 2 magnets ready. All right. So I'll just put those over here on camera. Yeah, so we can see them. So we know those are for the las cannons. All right, and then we're going to have a look at these shoulder joints. Now these shoulder joints, need to attach to the arm sockets here, all right, which are going to be pretty important. These are one of the most important parts, second most important part of the magnetization process. So we kind of want to go a little bit bigger with them. We're going to use, now guys, if you can't get access to these army painter magnets or whatever, or modeling magnets, there's different brands that do them. You know, the size, the only reason the size matters is basically because the bigger the magnets are, the more pull they're going to have, and the firmer the stiffer their movements are going to be. All right. So there we go. These ones are a little bit bigger. Whoa, they're actually the same size by the looks of it. Oh, yeah, that's okay. We'll use both that size. We'll use the the two there. So see how the magnets, it can be quite annoying. They can snap together a fair bit here and there. So you'll see I have a trick for sort of helping out with this a bit later. So there we go, 2, 2, 2. That's all good. They're all the same size. That's fantastic. We could go through, get a few spare ones out, but that's fine. Look, if it stuffs up, guys, I'll just stop the camera and we'll keep going with it. Now for the torso, that's going to be pretty easy. All right, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go through here in my magnet stack. All right, and I'm just going to go through, and you can see this big one, this really big ones here. That's an ideal one to use for in that sort of bottom pit right there. Right, so that's actually an ideal sort of part. But you know, I don't think we're going to use it that big. I think we're going to step one up. We're going to use these medium-sized ones, like right here. You can see that there's these sort of medium-sized magnets. Hopefully you can see those. All right, just in there. Okay, we're going to use those. So we've got all our magnets ready. All right, now the next part, we're going to go for coffee after this. But there's one more thing we need to do. We need to do it now because it's very important, and the paint's going to need to dry. Now, the thing is, magnets have polarity. All right, now what that means is it's a big problem. One of the biggest things of magnetization that people get stuck on is the fact that they'll stick the magnet in, they'll super glue it in, and then what happens is that it's actually facing the wrong way. So it actually creates like a negative pull, not a positive pull. And then you're kind of stuffed because a lot of the time, you know, you've got this magnet sitting in there that you've bored open, and you know, you can't, the only way to get it out is like to drill it out and destroy the model, right? So what I actually do, I use a bit of paint, all right, for this. Like I said, any paint. And what we're going to do is, and we'll do this now before we move outside and actually do the drilling and the gluing. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through and just paint on each side, like the back face of the magnet, right? Now be advised, this will come off when you start gluing and things like that because it's metal. Like I said, you can use a metal paint or something like that so it will stick better. All right, now I know this might seem excessive, guys, but I'm pretty sure so you be careful of that. I don't want to be confused there. I'm pretty sure anyone who's ever done any magnetization would agree that this could be quite an annoying part, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab those, wait for a few seconds for those to dry, and then I'm going to flip them over. I'll just do these ones as well. Where did that go? I had another one there that was... Yeah. Anyway, I had another one there. I don't know where it's gone now. I'll just go through. I'll just use this one. I'll just get another pair. They'll pop up somewhere. Maybe they stuck to another magnet. Who knows? But so anyway, here we go. We go here. All right. So this will be for the pelvis. And just get some Abaddon black and just smash it in there like that. All right. There we go. So logical steps, guys. Very logical. You can see here. You know. And now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just wait a few minutes. I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to paint the other side. And in that way, we know what side of the magnet should be glued to the model and then what side of the magnet should be stuck, you know, the magnet to magnet side stuck together. All right, which is fantastic. And you know, I've sort of came to this procedure, you know, by ruining a few models. All right, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. I think it's a pretty great procedure. Yeah, brothers. All right, so let's turn these little guys over. They should be dry by now. Let's flip those guys around. And we'll just quickly just do the other side. And then we'll go through and we'll get into, just shake that up a bit. You go shake, shake, shake. This is my Elvis impersonation. Guys will be used to that from some of the previous tutorials. Just gonna go here and just, you know, dab on some more Abaddon Black. Okay. Like that, which is pretty cool, really cool. All right, there we go. Excuse the hand, guys. All right, fantastic, awesome. And then now, you know, we're pretty much set to go. We'll just let this dry a bit, and then we're going to start boring in some holes. We'll start with the las cannons first because they're the easiest, and then we'll work our way up to the more challenging components. Yeah, so just, I have, obviously, as you've seen before, I have done this before. So I can tell you now, there's a fair bit of resin right here on that sort of pelvic region. We're gonna have to clip that down a fair bit. Now, to save stuff flying around everywhere, I'm probably gonna use my snips to basically cut as much as I can off of that at first. But you just don't wanna be careful. We don't wanna go too far, because the thing is, guys, you can always trim more away, but you don't want to cut it too far, or then you're going to lose volume in the resin and you'll go too low and you won't be able to stick your magnet on, and then you'll have to use green stuff or putty, and then it just becomes, you know, another level of annoying, okay? I know as well in here, we basically have a little bit of sort of leeway there in the resin sort of to drill in, but again, we'll bore it in with the snips, and then we'll switch to the Dremel just to sort of smooth it out a bit and get it going. We'll just play it by ear. Also here, there's, just so you know, there's not much yield at all, resin in this area. So it's very thin here. You can actually feel it. So you can actually tap the resin with your brush or your hand. You actually feel the areas where there's resin volume and where there's not. And so yeah, just be very careful here. We only want to just drill in a little bit. We're not going to go too crazy. What you can do is you could sort of pierce a hole just to see, you know, how far you've actually got to go. This area here, from memory, there's quite a little bit of resin in there, but we'll just have to play it by ear. All right, fantastic. So we'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll start working on that. I'm going to clear this area. I don't need these anymore. I can move this off my table. This thing can go off my table. The glue will need to stay. Sips will need to stay. And I'll need to plug in the Dremel and put my breathing apparatus on. Fantastic, everybody. So to start off, let's get our snips in here. And we're just going to go through, and we're just going to start just sort of indenting a mark in here. All right, just sort of boring it in like that. It's probably not going to work too well. I might just have to go straight to the drill, to be honest. Let's try over here. Yeah, no, it's not going to... All right, let's start this part. So change of plan, guys. We'll start this part. So I'm just going to go on here. And I'm just going to start snipping this area away. Just be careful. Be very careful. You can see here, I'm just doing a little small layer, little bits at a time. All right, so just go... There we go. Snip that part off, right? You see I've taken that resin off there, all right? And you can see now this area is flat. So now that this area is flat, I can get my Dremel, all right? And now I can just start to sort of sand it down. Yeah, there will be a little bit of noise here, guys. All right, but you can see how that's sanding that out, okay? Fantastic, all right. Now, I think we could go just a little bit deeper down. All right, so I'm just going to use my snips again. And I'm going to just snip. You can see all the white powder on my hands. I didn't put on my gloves, but that's okay. Guys, filming these tutorials is, it's a lot harder to film and do this stuff at the same time as you're actually modeling. Like, a lot of people, they think like, oh, you know, it's actually, anyone who's ever done these knows, you know, it's easy when you're modeling because you could just go model and your mind's on the model. But like when you're doing these tutorials, it's like you've got to keep your mind on the filming and the actual modeling. So it could be quite a challenge. And you can see here, I'm just slowly chipping away, not going too far down. And I think that's about enough. All right, I'm just gonna get the Dremel out again. Now I'm just gonna move all these parts over here. So you just get all these out of the way. All right, so it's probably this is the most important part anyway, guys. So it's good that I'm kind of doing this first, you know. So get the Dremel again, hold it down, get a good grip on it, start to sand that in. Nice and flat. All right, and there we go. Okay, so probably a little bit flatter, I'd say. We could come at it this way. Maybe do little circular motions. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Go. All right, you see the resin there, the white resin on the table. That's why I was telling you to put your gloves on. These models, guys, before you undercoat these, make sure you wash them, wash the flakes off this. Make sure you wash your hands, even if you've got gloves on. So yeah, but that's basically it. You can see you've got a really nice and smooth base there for your magnet. Okay, so now they were all the same. Now what we're going to do, we know that we got, you know, how do we know what side we're going to use? Well, remember, it's easy because we put the black paint on, right? So first of all, what we're going to do, we're going to grab it. I'm just going to blow this up a bit. Just blowing, blow that sort of resin off the top. Usually I would go wash it, guys, but because, you know, we want to keep the tutorial flowing, I'm not going to do that in this instance. And what I'm going to do to start off, I'm just going to put a dab of super glue on the center point of this model. Now, just be very careful with the super glue. You really don't want to put too much. You just want to dab it. You want to take your time. All right, there we go, starting to come out. I'm starting to see it now. Right, this is an older super glue, so I'm just going to be very careful because it's going to come pouring out. I think there's super glue on that. No, it's not coming out for me. Damn it. I think the tips needs a bit of it. No, there we go. All right, there's a bit of a clog. So be very careful at, guys, because don't touch your model. There we go. Bit of a dab there. Be very careful at, guys, because if you get super glue on your hands, don't get super glue on your hands, but be careful, it's going to stick. Also, if you touch your model, you're going to get fingerprints all over your model, right? So just be very careful of that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my magnet, I'm going to find one of the sides with the black paint, and I'm just going to place it directly on the model, right, like so. Center it off, right, and I just want to be extremely careful, guys, extremely careful that I don't get any super glue between the magnets. All right, so let me show you this in front of the camera so you could see it. All right. So you can see here how I've got the black side up with the paint up, and basically just make sure you do not get any super glue between the magnets, because the magnets, if you get super glue in there, they are not going to be able to swivel. They are going to be fixed, right? But we want to put them on both at once, because what that enables us to do is, you know, we know the polarity in that way. All right. Later on, when we get the other side in, we'll put extra super glue there, but for now, just let that dry. Doesn't matter if it's completely 100% straight at this point either. Okay, you'll find that it kind of balances out in the end, you know, with the model. All right. But with that said, you know, the straighter that you can get it, the better. Now you can see here how nice that is, like, you know, so you can see here a lot more of the model is protruding through. Now you will get a little bit of a sort of like a magnet there, all right, but it's still pretty reasonable. So I'll just grab this. I'm just gonna come in here and just start to sort of twist around. It's actually good to do this part by hand, to be honest. And like I said, guys, there's no set rule for this. It's just do it like whatever you feel you need to do, right? Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna slowly drill this in with my hand. You can just use another drill as well. You get these little twisty drills. And this is gonna show me, you can see here, actually how much sort of resin I have to play with. I can drill straight through. It's not a problem, because as long as I have resin around the side of the model, that's basically gonna be it. So I'm just going through. And I know it is a little bit of work, guys, all right? But, you know, I'm sure you'll agree it's a lot better than, you know, buying a whole new freaking model, you know? Forge World stuff isn't getting any cheaper. No, I'm just going through, just drilling that out. Right, you can see how much resin we have to play with there. So this is gonna tuck in there quite nicely, all right? So now, I'm actually not gonna worry about the drill. I'm gonna grab my snips, and this is why it's really important to have good snips. And I'm gonna use the edge of the snips to just come in here and then just slowly and carefully twist out more circumference of that hole, all right? Just tapping out the residue. So you can see here, we're getting quite, you know, a lot of resin. I'm gonna be careful with the camera too, because I just bought this camera for the tutorials, so I don't want to wreck it. A little bit more. All right, tap that out, and now just test it. You can see here that actually fits in there quite nicely. There's a little bit of a gap, right? There's a little bit of a gap there, but it's quite nice, you know. Could we go a little bit further with that? So just twist it around, right, and just push that in. I think I'm happy with that. I do want a little bit of a gap in there. I don't want it to be, you know, yeah. All right, but you work it out, guys. It's your model. I'm just showing you like the way I do things, and you know, you can sort of. And I know, guys, look, I know this is quite a lengthy process compared to a lot of other methods, but I just find that this is a lot more accurate. Now, just get a bit of super glue in there. I'm just going to push that in because I know it fits. Right, like that. And now I'm going to just grab these two components and I'm going to push it in. Now, I want to be careful. I do not want to get any super glue inside that other section. And what I'll do, after a few seconds, once the glue starts to take, I am going to actually just pull it apart, right? And just try to keep it as straight as you can. So now that that's done, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull this out, and I'm just going to sort of like drag it up along that edge. You can see what's happened here. So it's just come off, right? And this is where it's important. Now you can see why I have that black mark, right? So you know what? Stuff it. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to actually separate it now, and it started to stick. And I know, because I painted it black, right? I know that I can now go through, and that's the side that I'm going to stick in there. So guys, you try it the first way. If it doesn't work, this is your auxiliary support, right? I'm going to get something non-magnetic, and that would be my paintbrush, which is over there. So I'm going to need to use the top of the glue just to push this in a little bit. Whoa. Yeah, like I said, guys, this is why I did this tutorial, because magnetizing stuff can be very fiddly. Alright, so we're going to tap that in. And it's not an exact science, right? But, you know, you can do it. And it's better to do it this way than to go pay another $500 for a, you know, for a las cannon, for everything. Now, because the magnets are separated now, we can go through and we can actually just put a little bit of extra glue around there now, which will help it settle in. And we can actually wipe that away later. It's not going to really worry us too much. And I don't have to worry about that glue on my hand now because like it's dry, so it's not going to cause any finger marks and stuff. If you do get finger marks on your model, then what you could do is you can always sand it down later, but you kind of don't want to do that. There is always a little bit of sort of like work you're going to need to do with resin. Now we can start to put a little bit of glue on here, guys, because it's, you know, because we really want these to be stuck on. All right, now once it's done, I'll just get it. Because we had it glued on before, I can now just wipe it and it will stay, you know, just off there. Because we don't want to put too much glue on the top or it's going to affect the magnetism. All right, there we go. Now we're going to get these. We're going to put these, not throw them, Steve. We're going to put these over to the side. That's the most important part done. The rest is easy. Let's go through and do the other ones. So we'll do the cannons now here. So once again, we'll just manually sort of like just bore our way in to the model. Use your drill if you like. I find that I get a little bit more control if I'm using my hands though, to be honest. But like I said, you know, this is just a tutorial, a baseline. You know, I'd love to see your techniques, you know. So you see, I just bring it in. And you can see here, I got quite a bit of leeway there. You know, to be able to drill in, and I'm going through, and I'm just, you know, it's sort of testing the depth, right? If that makes sense. You're basically just testing the depth of the model to make sure that when you bore out your model, you don't go too far. You can see how far you have to go before you pierce the model. All right, I'll go get my snips again and just do the same thing. Bore out a circumference around that initial hole. Okay, just ejecting any resin that's not needed. All right, there we go. And just some of the magnets sticking together, that's okay. All right, and we just pop that, just see if that fits. We can see here it's not quite big enough yet, so that's okay. We're just gonna go through and we're just gonna keep boring out, you know, more hole. Just keep twisting it. All right, and then just give that a bit of a blow. And I think that's going to be okay. I'm not too fussed about the cannon sections because it kind of makes sense there'd be a little bit more electronics there. Alright, let's just get this there. Okay, I think that's going to be okay. Just in there like that. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be a massive deal, to be honest. I might just get it a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll just twist it around the side. Just slowly, guys. Just watch your fingers. Alright. That's snapped somewhere. I've got no idea where that's snapped to. Anyway, get that in here. Try it now. Yeah, I think that'll do. Let's just stick that in. Alright, get that in. We could also use a smaller magnet, but I'm pretty cool with this, so let's just sort of drill that in right there. Bit of glue, not so much glue as last time, which is good. black side in there like that. Alright, give it a bit of a push in. Okay, fantastic. Now we'll do the other side. Just give it a bit of a bore out. Don't be afraid to use some pressure. But at the same time, don't go too crazy either. Alright, we should just be able to pop that in there. I think it's going to need a little bit more. So we just drill that in. There we go. Yeah, I think that's okay. So you want to be sort of careful too that you need to keep them equal as well. You don't want one side sort of popping out. Like, better to have a little bit of stuff popping out than not. There we go. That sits in there about the same. Give it a bit of tap out, bit of blowout, because you don't want to be gluing over the resin. There we go. Stick this guy in there. Black side first. That's why we know what side is working. So push that in. Give it a nice push. There we go. That's ready. Okay, so these two sections are now ready. All right. So what I want to do now is I want to just take the top magnet off just to be sure that like the super glue doesn't stick it on. So you can see that one's already started. So I've got to be very careful. Oh, crap. Yeah, that one's already stuck together a little bit. It's annoying, and it's starting to take off the paint too. That will happen, but I'll use this side. I may need to, yeah, if this happens, just get them apart as soon as you can. Don't be afraid as well to just use a completely separate magnet. Just get new magnets, stuff it, guys. The magnets are pretty cheap. They're like 30 bucks or something AUD for a whole pack of magnets that you saw. So, you know, your model's obviously more important. So now I've done that, I could go through, just put a little bit more super glue around the edge. Like so. Alright. And just wipe that top part off like that. Alright. There we go. Okay, let that dry. So we're getting there, bros. We're getting there. Alright. So now it might be a good time to clean this crap up. Make sure you put your glue on the lid on. So I'm just gonna push this over to the side here. I'm gonna have to give this table a good clean later. Right, I mean, you don't want to be breathing this stuff in, guys, so make sure you wash your hands, you use your mask, whatever. Okay, this section is going to be, okay, that's for that. This is for the shoulders. There's actually going to be two parts for these shoulders we're going to need, so it's going to be, yeah, this is a tricky part. This is where I think we're going to need our Dremel. So let's get this section. We're going to use our snips. Right, we're going to start snipping away at these shoulders ever so carefully. We don't want to go in too deep. Alright, get the good old Dremel. Try to keep it as straight as possible here. Come up the edge. So watch those fingers, guys. There we go. That should be good to start with. Now we want to get the other side around about the same. So we want to do this now while we're waiting for the other stuff to dry. You know, it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, but it's always good to just get a snip a fair bit off here. Alright, back to the Dremel. There we go. Yeah, you can see here, I can smell that resin in the air, so it's not good. I don't want that. So we want to have something like that. All right, let's just hold that up to the camera there, so you can see that. All right, so you can see that there. All right, great. All right, fantastic. Now, the bottom sections. For the bottom sections, they need to be a little, this is where the las cannon will like slot in here. Right, so these sections are like a lot more sort of delicate. So I'm gonna come in by hand with these, I think. And I'm going to start boring these out manually with my hand. All right, so you guys know the process. Now, if you're still watching this, thank you, awesome. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See here, see that? See how you could see I've just drilled through just a little bit too far. You can see there's through the resin. You do not want that. You need to be careful through that. Be very careful. So I think, guys, I think I'm just gonna put these straight on here. Right, I think I'm just going to put these straight on because you can see that they've got the, you know, the lip hanging over anyway. I don't mind if there's a little bit of magnet showing. I'm cool with that. So, all right. So we're just going to get these black sides out, and we are going to just put some super glue in here, just a little bit, just like before. Alright, we can always put more in later. And this is a little bit different because these belong to that. So hopefully some of my paint has stayed. Yes, it has. So I know what side goes towards the model. Alright, it's probably, guys, I'll be honest with you, that right there is probably the biggest tip of the whole tutorial. Just marking out your sides of them. I'm not even going to bother putting a hole in there. Just put a bit of glue. Now remember, you can always put in more glue later, but initially, oh, the paint's come off that. That's going to suck. Well, I'm just going to have to try it out, guys. I'm going to take a lucky guess. Actually, you know what? I'll test it. I'm going to get the other side, chuck it on. Okay, that side, just hold it, remembering what side goes on, and just put it on. Yeah. Alright, hopefully that works. This is going to be like really hard to get out if it's... Actually, no, this side shouldn't be too hard. It should be alright. So I'm just going to make sure I test it before I put like more super glue on. So, okay, cool. So that's on there, that's on there, that's cool. Give that a few minutes and I'll test it. I'll try to snap it to the las cannons. And then we're on to our last part, which was the side arms. Now the side arms, what I could do is I've drilled that in, which is cool. But now I'm gonna have to do this side and I'm gonna have to just push this in here. So what I might do is I might just go through and just push this in a little bit more. You know, Dremel in a little bit here, see how far we can get it. we just want to make sure that we've got volume. Oh, there's heaps of volume there, guys. Heaps. You can see like how much volume we've got in there. Alright, so let's do the other side quickly. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. We're just going to get these in here. And I mean, chances are you were able to pick it up on the first sequence. Just going through, drilling these out. Yep, a lot of good volume there. So I'll come in with my snips and just start boring that resin out of there. See, what's so lovely about these snips as well, it's like because of the tip, once again, as I was saying, you see that tip there. It's kind of like acts as a sort of almost like a shovel. Yeah, just sort of, boring it out. Let's give this a test. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. We don't have to go too crazy with it. Oh, okay, we know that works. That's good. So I think that's going to be fine like that, to be honest. Get this through here. Boring it out. Alright, fantastic. Blow that, blow that. And now we could just come in and, because I got the black on there, I think I'm going to separate these parts before I glue them, because yeah, this is, guys, if you stuff this part up, it's not good. It's very hard to correct. So just take your time. It's funny, the super glue, it likes to stick to your finger before it sticks to the resin. When that happens, you just twist it off your finger. Alright, and then just come here and you can just add that in. I mean, that's looking alright like that. You can see here I'm using this plastic lid. Alright, fits in right like that. The other side as well. Get this going on, separate it. Sometimes you could put them in together, guys. Sometimes you could separate it. Like, it really just depends, Like I said, it's not an exact science. I don't operate as an exact science with modeling. So I know there's a lot of tutorials that go for like, 5 minutes and, and they like, oh, that went in the wrong way. And they go through and stuff like that. And see, for me, as I'm working, magnet, thank goodness. If that happens, guys, use something magnetic to fish it out, okay? Basically, yeah, I like to go through and, adapt to the situation as I'm modeling, like if I'm going through, I'm painting something and I find that the color's too light, I'll correct on the fly, or if the color's too dark, I'll correct on the fly. If I find that, I plan to use a Dremel heaps, and then I'm finding that, it's better hand drilling it, then that's what I'll do, So that's just the way it is. Now that these are in, I could go through, I could just add a little bit more glue around those edges. And I know they're good because I've marked them out with the black paint. So I know they're the right direction. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Holy crap. Uh-oh. This is not good. Oh, thank goodness I got to it just in time. Too much talking, not enough gluing. Alright, now I'm a bit paranoid about this now, so I'm just going to test this, make sure that it's the right way. So just wipe the super glue off the tip. And guys, that's as well. I make mistakes in the video on purpose and I don't edit them out usually, unless it's something really stupid. Because the fact is, what I want you to do in my tutorials, I want you to actually learn from my mistakes. All right, that's why I show you that. Yeah, no, that's fine. And the other one is also super fine. And for now, I could just go through and just stick that on anyway, like that. But it will be a bit annoying. Just use it, slide it out. Yeah, you'll find that the black paint does rub off after a while. Like I said, you can use you know, like Emmanuel's paints stuff, but I don't. So the final section will just be just gluing these magnets onto this part. Starting off with just a little bit of glue, not too much. Yeah, and just stick that on the outside. All right. And you can see here that goes on okay. All right. And then we're going to do the other side. Just a little bit of glue. Sticking it on. Black side towards the resin. You can see here it's stuck to my finger. Oh, gonna get a lot of... There we go. Okay, that's nice and centered. This one's not too set. Ah, it should be okay because it will move around a fair bit, you know. So let's test it out. So let's put this guy together. Well, first of all, we can try the legs on the body. Boom, that snaps together perfectly. Right, and then we'll go through and we can, I just glued these, so I probably just want to wait. I just want to put a bit of extra glue around the edges. Because otherwise what happens is, guys, is if you test it too early, the polarity of the magnet might snap it off. So I'm thinking, I want to test these areas first though. So that's good, just wipe a bit of glue off there, a bit of glue off there. We could put these on. That snaps nicely. Alright. And you can see here, like, you know, we've kind of got this little bit of a magnet area, but look, it's kind of like the way it would be, you know, it's like the mechanical part. I don't mind that too much, but you guys can bore like full on, you know, in there if you want. It's really up to you guys. Like I said, these tutorials are... Whoa, got a problem here. Looks like these two magnets are going the opposite direction somehow. That's going to be an issue. Hopefully I could get this out. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Oh, thank God. See, guys? That's why, thank God, I didn't put extra glue. So you always test it out before you put extra glue. And this side is being a wee head as well, which is going to be annoying. Hopefully I can repair this. Got it out. Alright, so I'm going to get this snapping in there. Okay, snap it in there first. And in this instance, I'm going to just push it in. I'll glue it in like that. Stuff it, I'll hold it there. So yeah, guys, it's really important that you get your polarities right. But as you can see, you know, even with the marking it, like, you know, you could stuff it up. So you just got to be careful, just testing it out all the time. I'll just push that back in there. I'm just going to hold that in there like that now. Okay, I'm going to hold that in there for a couple of... Oh, I reckon I'll hold this there for a minute. There we go. Just make sure I can still swivel it. Yep, there it is, guys. Woohoo! Alright, this section's working fine. That section's now magnetized. Alright, there he is, coming up. Just this arm. Just this arm that needs to be coming up. So I just need to make sure the polarity is correct. Wherever that magnet went, so I'll just get this guy. Make sure that... Oh, that one's stuffed up as well, did it? It's freaking annoying. I must have made a mistake somewhere. That's alright. Snap that there. That on here. Like I said, guys, it is very hard as well when you're talking. Luckily, I'm able to get that off. Just flip that over. Stick this to the bottom. Let's clear the resin off it. You know, but like I said, you know, like, learn by my mistakes. Okay, like, it's all good for me to just come out and go, oh yeah, this is how you do it. You know, this is how you do it. It's easy. And then, like, you know, if this mistake happens and you don't know how to get out of it, this way you could see me recover from those mistakes. I'm actually a professor, so I know how to teach people how to do stuff. Yeah, so that's the techniques I'm using here. All right. Cool. Right, and then that should be good, and I'm just going to stick that one in there. That should be easy to do. I'll just actually just stick that guy in there like that. And then get this. And then stick this back on. Just hold it there for a couple of minutes. Really nice. Like, we've had a few hiccups, guys. But for the most part, I think it's been a really nice, like, a really nice result. You know, like, the model's looking really good. The magnetized parts are looking really good. So I have a feeling this part is going to be a little bit annoying. But I've just got to hold it there, guys. I'll probably edit this part out, maybe. There it is. All right. And there he is, brothers. Have a go. All right, so there he is. He's got full articulation around the pelvis. All right, his arms swivel. Right, and the turret swivel. All right, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and done. And that's the end of the tutorial. Now, one last thing I will do, which I'm not going to show you on camera. I'm going to wrap this tutorial up here. But once it's all sort of ready, I'm going to give it like another maybe 10 minutes to glue, like to stick together. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through just one. Now that I know all the polarities are correct, everything's sort of attracting the same way. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put one final glue pass around the edges of all the joints just to make it more, you know, more sort of tactile. All right, so fantastic. Yeah, really happy with the way this came out, guys. It's really looking good. Guys, we're going to have more of these tutorials. If you enjoy the tutorial, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Fantastic, everybody.